such a beautiful day. Well, actually, it's our day. Hello, my friends, my name is Aluna, and I am inviting you to celebrate the International Roma Day with the Luton Roma Trust. Yes, you heard it well, let's celebrate. And the lockdown is not a reason not to be happy and not to celebrate. So come closer to your screens and enjoy the beautiful Roma music around the world. We have special dedications from Roma musicians from everywhere, and also we will launch today in premiere a freshly made video clip of Ando Glasso. In addition, we have very interesting discussions about music against racism. Did you ever think that music is a good tool to fight against racism, or that music can change people's opinions about Roma? What do you think about that? Well, let's better ask someone who knows about music better than me. And today I ask all of my speaker guests one question: how the music can change people's opinions and perceptions about Roma.
I generally relate this to Roma because I think, we're at such a nexus of having an image problem, but also being really strong in music. So this topic comes up a lot, and it lends itself to thinking about, how can we use music to fight racism. And to me, there are basically three different kind of topic areas that we can discuss. One is, what type of music are we playing as musicians? And I want to make it clear that I don't think it's not every musician's job to be fighting against racism, right? So people should be free to play manele music and not worry about, what that's doing for the image of the larger group. Like, I don't think we have to oppress people by saying, you have to do this and that, or that's making us look bad, right? I mean, we can think whatever we want, but so obviously, if you have the Roma and Sinti Philharmonic, which is a large body of musicians that's based in Germany, and they're there in their evening wear and they're playing classical music and they're representing Romani culture that way. That's going to get I've seen it happen where people are like, oh, they have their own orchestra. I mean, I never thought that. And it does it has this mainstream cultural capital, right? So it has this potential to kind of raise Roma in the eyes of the non-Roma. But, is that how we need to be representing Romani culture all the time? Of course not, because also, you lose a lot in that telling, right? Because you're playing music that most of the time is not Romani at all. So, what kind of music do we play? That's one thing. The other thing, which I think is really important, and we don't think about it enough, is how do we present the music that we're playing? So what you see a lot with Romani musicians is, we make a CD or we make a video, and we have the fire and we have the horse and we have all the stereotypes and we don't talk about what really goes into the music we're making, that it's a lot of technical skill and it's a lot of actually music theory that a lot of us have to know. We don't talk about the brain part of it because we think people don't want to listen to that, and usually that is correct. And then the third thing is, how do we present ourselves as musicians and as people, and sort of by extension like our communities where we're coming from, right? So I love it when a musician is also an author, and you really see, and they have this focus on their texts, and their texts are poetry, and they talk about it as poetry, and they also write other things. You see a poet, and again, that kind of makes people think like, oh yeah, they're using their brain, right? Because so much of the racism is really about this idea that we're not intellectually capable. So I think, making it very obvious how intellectually capable we are can be a big part of countering that racism. And again, which is not to say that the people aren't valid if they're not doing that. It's just that I think that is one useful way of communicating with the outside world.
Dag dag du ma dagadai du male Yes, biggest para. Everybody. Petra Gelbart.
I think there is so much that one can say about racism, but music has done such a great job in advocating against it through the voice of great artists who fueled the ongoing fight for inclusion and equality. Statements of diversity and inclusion have been expressed by many artists, and for many of them, music has been the only way they could express their pain and the disappointment of this global issue. But my favorite example is Michael Jackson's Black or White music video, made 30 years ago, where he showed the beauties of difference and diversity, traveling across the globe and adapting his dance move to the different culture or country he found himself in. Yet I think the most important thing is the message of equality and inclusion that the artist is sending through his song. He speaks from experience, as himself has been a victim of discrimination and racism when his skin condition became too big of a problem to be able to conceal it. But also many other big names such as Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Bob Dylan, Marvin Gaye, Beyonce have raised this issue of racial discrimination, inequality, and exclusion in their struggle to make people change their views and understand what's fair. I think artists were seen by their fans as prominent role models. And because of this fact, people were listening to what they had to say. Through their songs, they shaped the social perception. Generations of people have realized the importance of diversity and inclusion, and that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, and what color your skin has. As an artist, I am aware that racism or xenophobia comes from prejudice, frustration, and bigotry, which I think are deep-rooted in our unconscious awareness. But as Michael Jackson says in his Man in the Mirror song, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Salutare, dragi prieteni! Cu ocazia Zilei Internaționale a Romilor de Pretutindeni, în special celor din Luton, Marea Britanie, Mahalara Banda urează un călduros la mulți ani, sănătate și multă fericire. Budberșea Angle Romale, Bacht, ai sa stipe!
Barbalea, San Shukar, Sanai Baro. Moromea, Barbalea, Bactalea, Ile Sassumacuno. Moromea, Barbalea, Bactalea, San Shukar, Sanai Baro. Moromea, Barbalea, Bactalea, Ile Sassumacuno.
I think music is a very important part of any culture, you see, and I think culture in general is very, very important to approach and understand and work with any community. In our culture, music is probably an even bigger slice than in many other cultures. So it's definitely a very important area to discover and see what is there, what we can find there, and what we can use it for, you know, and why is it so important. So for that reason, that was my first kind of direction with Andoglasso, and this is what we've been focusing on quite a lot. Yeah, it's a bit of a cliche that it's a language, but it really allows people from outside of our community to get to know us, to see what is the beauty in our culture and in our people. So that's why I think it is a very important medium to communicate with the outside world. I think generally our own music, throughout this kind of being a gateway, being a window into our own culture, can definitely support people to understand more. But of course, you need people who are willing to listen, who are open. So I'm sure for a lot of people, it can help, yes, to connect with us and to understand us. A good example for that in Hungary, for example, the so-called Hungarian gypsy music is something that everyone in Hungary would consider that is part of our own culture, and they're proud of it, and they support it, and they really supportive of people who are practicing it, who are creating this. In the same time, there are so many other issues in between the mainstream society and Roma communities in countries like Hungary, where the politics is, of course, not supporting anything of that. Yet, the music, the culture of Roma people, I'm pretty sure 99.9% of Hungarians would say, yes, this is part of our culture. We're proud of it, and through that, there is an immediate connection between Roma and non-Roma people in countries like that.